Have you ever seen scrollable lists where each list has its own scroll bar, and scrolling one list doesn't move the others? Excel doesn't provide this feature natively, but we can create the same effect using a scroll bar form control and a simple formula. On Sheet 1, we already have 3 long lists, each with 40 records. When we scroll the worksheet, all lists move together, which is exactly what we don't want. So instead of scrolling the original data, we'll display it on Sheet 2 using a formula. This way, the original data stays fixed, and we scroll only the visible portion of a list. The formula shown on the screen returns the first record from the books list. Let's quickly understand how it works. The first argument is the starting reference, Sheet 1 cell A2. The second argument is the number of rows to move down, which comes from cell B2. The third argument is 0, meaning we stay in the same column. Right now, cell B2 is empty. Numerically, an empty cell is treated as 0, so offset moves 0 rows and 0 columns. That means the result is exactly the value from Sheet 1 cell A2. Now, how many records do we want to see at one time? For this tutorial, we'll show 5 records. Simply drag the fill handle down to A6, and you'll see 5 items from the list. Notice something important here. As we drag the formula down, the reference changes from A2 to A3, A4, A5, and A6, but the row offset stays fixed because we used an absolute reference for cell B2. Now let's see the magic. Change the value in cell B2 to 2. Instantly, the list jumps forward and shows records A3 through A7. Change it to 3, and now you're seeing A4 through A8. This is exactly how scrolling works. Try entering 36 in cell B2. You'll notice zeros appear. That tells us the list has ended. Our list contains 40 records, and since we're displaying 5 at a time, the last valid starting position is 35. Keep this number in mind. We'll use it in the scroll bar. Now insert a scroll bar. Go to the Developer tab, click Insert, and choose the scroll bar from Form Controls. Draw it next to the list and position it so cell B2 stays hidden behind it to avoid confusing users. Right-click the scroll bar and choose Format Control. Set the minimum value to 0 and the maximum value to 35. In the cell link box, select cell B2, then click OK. Now use the scroll bar. As you move it, the list scrolls smoothly. To cross-check, look at the original data on Sheet 1. You'll see the displayed records match perfectly. So far, this trick works perfectly for single-column data. Now let's move one step ahead and see how to create a scrollable list for multi-column data. This time, we'll scroll a country's list. On Sheet 1, the data starts from cell E2. Let's start writing the formula. It's very similar to the previous one. The reference argument now points to Sheet 1 cell E2. The rows argument points to cell G2, which will later link to the scroll bar. The column argument remains 0. And when you press Enter, it returns the first record from Sheet 1 cell E2. Now let's test it. Manually enter 1 in cell G2. You'll see it returns the second record. Change it to 2, and it returns the third record. So far, this behaves exactly like our single-column example. But notice, only the first column is showing. To include the second column, we'll use the 5th argument of the offset function, which is width. We'll skip the height argument by simply adding a comma without providing a value, and then for the width argument, we'll type 2. This tells Excel that we want the returned range to be 2 columns wide. Press Enter, and now the second column appears automatically. Changing the value in cell G2 scrolls the list, and the displayed records update based on that position. Now drag the fill handle down to display 5 records at a time. Next, insert the scroll bar. Go to the Developer tab, click Insert, and choose the scroll bar from Form Controls. Place it beside the list. Right-click the scroll bar and choose Format Control. Set the maximum value to 35, and in the cell link box, enter G2. Click OK. Now the scroll bar is linked to cell G2. As you move the scroll bar, the linked cell updates from 0 to 35, and the offset function returns the corresponding rows from the source data. But notice something strange. Only the first visible row updates when scrolling, while the rows below it don't change. That's because in the offset formula, The rows argument is not using an absolute reference. To fix this, change the reference to $G$2, making it absolute. Then drag the formula down again. And there you go. Now the entire multi-column list scrolls smoothly and correctly, just like a real independent scroll bar. If you don't want the spilled result and want this formula to stay compatible with older versions of Excel, simply remove the fifth width argument and press Enter. Now select cell E2 and drag the fill handle to the right in a cell F2. Then select both E2 and F2 and drag the fill handle down to display 5 records. The formula is copied and the reference in the first argument automatically updates to the next column. Now the result doesn't spill. Each column is returned by its own formula, making this approach fully compatible with older Excel versions. If you're using the latest Excel version that supports spill ranges, you don't need to drag the formula right or down to copy it. Instead, you can use the height and width arguments of the offset function. In this formula, we're scrolling the same countries table. When we enter 5 as the fourth argument, offset returns 5 rows. When we enter 2 as the fifth argument, it returns 2 columns. You can see it shows the same result as before, but this time it's a spilled range. There's no need to drag the fill handle at all. And if you want more rows or columns, just edit the formula in one place. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.